On live. Well, at least I pressed the button. See if that works. How quickly does the button make it happen? I'm on my iPad checking to see if I'm actually live now. Yeah, I think we are. Hi guys! If you can hear me and see me, say something in chat just so I know. I have, once again, a new setup. I swear, like, every time I live stream on YouTube, I have a new setup or something has changed. And I have to figure it out every time. Ashley, hello! Margaret and Adinda, hello everybody! Let me know if the music is too loud as well, because I'm using Epidemic Sound, which always is a little strange to like figure out the levels, and my mic is further away from me today. With my new setup, my mic is... I actually need to move it to the right side of my other desk for streaming to make it better, but hopefully it's okay because I turned the gain up. Hello Arna and Tammy and Manyo, and I am so sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Feel free to tell me how it's pronounced. Lumia Zenium. Turn the music down a hair. Okay, 1 second. Okay, is that better? Sometimes the songs and some songs are louder than others as well, so we might have to adjust it here and there. If anything, I would rather have the music like really low in the background, just so it's not as difficult to hear me and I don't have to like yell. I don't want to feel like I'm yelling. So yeah. Perfect for now? Okay, cool. I mean, it's definitely, I have to change it every stream. Every Twitch versus YouTube is a little different as well. And also I'm going to zoom in on my iPad text size because I'm blind. I don't know if that actually changes on YouTube, but no, I guess not. Darn it. Hi, Julie. Hi, Jimmy. Joining for some gouache fun. You got a 36 set Holbein acryla. Oh, awesome. Wow. Yeah. What the heck? It's like a lullaby. And there's a little fly. No. Go away forever, song. How dare you? Oh no, I can see it up ahead. There's some Christmas music. I'm listening to just like the laid back kind of acoustic playlist. So we'll see. I hope it doesn't have, I don't have too many issues. It's your favorite paint? I actually haven't done much acrylic gouache. I like how it looks when I see other people using it, in terms of like how convenient it is, the fact that it dries permanent, the fact that it's easily layered. Because of that, you don't have to worry about the like picking up layers underneath what you're painting. But yeah, I just haven't gotten into it. Also, I've seen lots of people using poster paints, and I've also seen, what are they called? Open acrylics. Like a lot of people actually have been recommending poster paint and open acrylics to me in my recent comments on my videos, and I'm like curious about them. But also, I already have so many supplies, and I have like a really good workflow with what I use now that I don't know if I want to complicate things just yet. I am using these swatch mixing chart thingies to figure out what color palette I'm going to use today. And this is like a super easy way to just get a feel for what colors your palette will mix. So it kind of takes the guesswork out and just helps you figure out what kind of moods you can create or the feeling you'll be able to create with your colors. Open is nice if you have matte medium. Oh, so... Okay, interesting. So it dries looking matte, like gouache. Hi, Annabelle. You saw Golden has flat matte acrylics, but I must just say no. I know, right? It's so tempting, but again, it's like, it's the kind of, it's the problem for me always goes back to, I already do so many different things. I love watercolor and gouache and oil painting, and like I'll never become an expert in one of those things unless I focus on it, but I don't want to just do one thing. So I already accepted the fact that I will be like mediocre in a bunch of things rather than an expert in one thing. But at least I'm happy. And so I'm like, do I want to add another challenge to that? Oh God. And plus I love drawing with ink and watercolor, ink and pencil and, what is the thing I just got? Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Well, charcoal sticks and the usual stuff too. So like drawing, painting, and then painting is divided by like all these different things. And yeah, I just can't, at the moment, I can't wrap my head around adding another thing. Let's go with this one. I think this color palette will be really nice for what I want to do today. Today I'm practicing Forest Light. And if you guys feel like sketching along with me or painting along, I do have a couple reference photos that I can share. If you type !ref in chat, I hope it pops up. If not, I'll just paste it in chat. And you can paint with me if you feel like it. This isn't really going to be like an instructional thing, but I might talk through my thoughts as I go. Okay. Actually, let's see what... Where's my yellow one? Permanent alizarin crimson mixed with lemon yellow. I just want to have that out. But it's missing. Or it's hiding. Maybe it's in here. It's no space. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay, so this is my range, pretty much. I mean, I can actually do more than that, but that's good enough to show me what I'll be able to do. Which I think is going to be great. Just put those up there. Let's move this slightly. Also, I can adjust the camera if I need to get things a little brighter or darker or whatever. Set up our palettes. I have this piece of palette paper soaking in my water, so it'll be nice and wet for the session. And that's just so that I can put the wet blobs of paint on there and they won't dry out quite as quickly. They still dry out, during a 2-hour session, but and then I have my spray bottle, of course, which helps. And a paper towel. And hopefully the mic and camera can pick me up as I'm like mumbling around, mumbling through my painting. It can be hard to choose sometimes. My mood changes really quickly with painting. Like day by day, I feel pulled to use different things. Like, I'll also sometimes go through like big periods of time where I only want to use one thing, like only gouache for months or only oil paint for months. And in that time, I usually improve a lot with that medium, which is good. But then I get back to the other mediums and I struggle a little bit. I'm gonna adjust my light so it's not as... There we go. That's better. All right. So according to my swatches that I pulled out, we need the following colors. Lemon yellow. Well, oh god, white, of course. Prussian blue. Pyroline black. Permanent alizarin crimson. And burnt umber. This is a big color palette, you guys. Usually I only use 3 colors. Like for 95% of my paintings, I use the primaries plus maybe black and then obviously white. So when I have more than that, I'm like, it kind of feels overwhelming sometimes. But then as I go on through the painting, it's usually like really nice to have those pre-mixed colors. Okay, that song got really loud and distracting for me. You're getting better at trying to get better at watercolor. There's so much I need to improve. And like, you know, your expectation of yourself and your skills always increases as you get better. So like your goal in painting is a moving target, right? Your hope for yourself. You always want to be better. At least most people. I know I do. And so that really never ends. Trying to improve, that doesn't end. So you just got to enjoy the journey along the way. Even if you're having a hard time with one of the whatever medium you're using, just stick with it, but try to enjoy. Knowing that if you continue, like you'll look back at that time someday and laugh about it. Looking forward to painting. It's past midnight. Oh, no worries. I hope you have a lovely sleep. It'll be this video will be just a replay, so you can watch it whenever. I might need more yellow than that, but we'll just start with that. What's the palette? You mean what colors am I using, or what are you asking? What this is? Probably need more blue than that. Hi, Moon. We'll just keep those out off to the side. Usually, like when I am using a few colors that I don't use every day, I'll just keep, oh, see how easily that reactivates? I'll keep the swatches off to the side, so it kind of guides me and reminds me what I can paint, what I can mix with them. It's really useful to have just like a quick glance. So, yeah, let's get started. Ooh, whoops. I might have just ruined that painting. I sprayed it with water, which is a big no-no. Hopefully it's a fine enough mist where it doesn't cause too many issues. Oh, obviously I need brushes. Big brush, little brushes. The colors, so we have white, lemon yellow, permanent alizarin crimson. Wait, yeah, can you see that? Burnt umber, Prussian blue, perylene black, or perylene green, whatever you. It goes by both names. So I don't actually have a black on my palette today, but perylene black is like black mixed with green, technically, and it's a really deep color. But if you just dilute it a little bit, you get this gorgeous like forest green, pine green color. It's very lovely. So yeah, I guess I have to think what I want to actually accomplish with this painting. So let's think. I was just in the forest recently and it was so beautiful. I need to recall that memory. And like the light was pouring through and it was warm and oh, it was just magical. So I think I'll go with like the light coming through. I'll go with my warmer tones. But leaning towards, I want this painting to be like a little more earthy. So yeah, but this is very watered down, diluted. This is how I typically like to start my paintings. Very thin wash. Sometimes I'll start with watercolor actually. And by the way, today I am going to be posting a video right when I end this stream of my recent painting in the forest. So after the stream, you guys will have another 20-something minute video to watch if you'd like. Hey Helena. Sorry, let me just catch up with chat. Da, 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 da. Oops, what happened? Auto mod. It got confused by something. It's not mixed. It's perylene black is a black pigment. Oh yeah, that's right. It is its own pigment. It's one PB letter. So it's its own thing, which is really cool. But when I describe it to people, I basically just say it's blackish green because it is. It's like this. It's actually, it reminds me more of a gem tone because it's a very clean color and it's a very rich, deep color. So I could totally see it as like a gem. So if anyone is interested in a really nice, rich, dark color, perylene black or perylene green, depending who makes it, is a great color. And if you mix a little bit of that with your permanent alizarin crimson or your dark blue, like whatever your darker colors are, if you mix a couple of those together, you can create like this super beautiful black color. You live in Colorado? Yes. Okay. So you might probably already know I'm from Colorado, and so a lot of my friends sent me photos of the crazy snowstorm you guys just had. Like, their houses were buried in the mountains. And I miss it. Like, I really miss those big snowfalls. That was such a huge part of my life for most of my life. And I know that it's really annoying to drive in and it can cause a lot of problems, but like when you don't have that, like you miss it. Maybe a little. Not every day, but what is the painting about? The painting is a forest. So this is my inspiration. I'm not copying the reference. I'm just using it as like loose inspiration because that's what I prefer to do. Yeah, it was ridiculous. I guess different areas got like way more as well. And most of my friends live in Denver, but then a few of them that are up in the mountains, they had like crazy, crazy snow. You went out and country skied? Yes. That is such a workout. I've only done it a few times. You know, despite growing up in snowy areas, I never really got into country skiing. Or what? Yeah, is it called country skiing? So you're not downhill skiing, but just like kind of horizontal through the forest and stuff. And the one time I did it, or the last time I did it, I was not like ready. I was so out of shape, and oh my gosh, I thought I was gonna die. I was like out of breath and sweating profusely, and I had way too many layers on. Like it was a freezing cold day, but it was a little sunny. But it was such a workout that you just get hot really fast, and you don't even need that many layers, even if it's freezing up in the mountains. So yeah, I was such a noob. And I was a very avid downhill skier, so I'm like, I can easily do this, like, but it kicked my butt. I love Perylene Violet. I use it a lot with Prussian Blue. Ooh, I love that combination. In my watercolor palette, I use Perylene Violet as my main red color because it's just amazing. Oh, it's called cross-country skiing. That's right, yeah. It's like, why does that sound weird? Yeah. Alright, is this dry? Pretty much dry. Alright. So, I'm going with some bigger brush strokes. Sorry, I'm just thinking. Yeah, bigger brush strokes for... I think I'm kind of trying some new techniques or ways of applying my colors this time, just because I feel like trying something a little different. And I really want to start with like some of my really rich reds and rusty tones, and then paint like muted grayish colors on top and kind of see the effect that creates. It may completely fail, but at least it'll be interesting. What's more interesting than watching someone fail live on YouTube? I gotta pick a light source direction, so I think I'm gonna go with this way. I do this like really weird hybrid watercolor gouache technique. Like that's quick. More often than not, I use my watercolor background to start my paintings. So I'm thinking about the painting in negative space right now. So like this color is my light color. And then I'll get like a little ways into the painting and that completely goes away and I start thinking in like thicker paint. And it's really weird. I need to like, I feel like I need to choose one or the other more often because doing it this way is very confusing sometimes. But it's just my natural approach. It's like my watercolor background is so ingrained into me now because like you have to keep your your highlights are the paper is your highlight technically, so like you have to keep that in mind from the very beginning. It's so hard to get out of my head. Hey, my artist life, how's it going? I don't have a scanner. I used to, but just like a really cheap one. But I don't have a scanner. I take high-res photos with my DSLR. Because most of the times the art that I'm like making prints of is bigger, wouldn't fit in a scanner anyway, so I just got in the habit of doing that, and now I have like a really easy routine for that process. But I do want to get a scanner for like some of my smaller work, especially. Like I'm thinking of maybe I don't know where I would put it in here, but just a normal size scanner. It would just make the process a little bit easier. Especially because I'm working on illustrating a story, and I feel like in the end I'm going to have so many things to photograph, or I don't want to photograph them, to capture and like digitize them, that having a scanner at that point is going to be really important. So I have one on my Amazon wish list that I've just kind of been keeping an eye on to see if it changes, if it goes on sale or anything, but I tend to forget about it. And then I just like randomly remember, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna need that soon. But the one that's on my wish list isn't fancy or anything. It's just like, I don't know. I think it's considered portable, honestly, which maybe would be useful. You like that approach because you end up with more translucent areas mixed with opaque, can be really pretty. Yeah, that's, I mean, if I hated my process, I would change it. If anything, it's more just a matter of my brain gets confused sometimes, like being in the watercolor mindset, but then suddenly in the painting I realize I can use the opacity of the paint, and I'm like, oh yeah, and like everything changes. And then sometimes I even end up covering the whole thing with thicker paint, and it's like, why did I even do that? I wonder if I have any examples. This one was kind of an example of that, which I might make a video of this one because I learned a lot, where I like started with the watercolor mindset, working around my highlights, and then at some point I'm like, why am I doing that? This is gouache. Like, use the gouache to your advantage. These ones were really thick. Yeah, I think you guys have seen a lot of these already. But I think it's because I do watercolor so much just for fun, just when I go out and sketch, when I am just like puttering around the studio, that I'm always in the watercolor mindset. It's so hard to get out of the watercolor mindset, at least for me. You do that with Amazon too? Yeah, it's a good way to keep track of things. Shiva! Shiva! Oh my gosh! Wait, okay. We're gonna take a slight detour. Because... Where is it? Is it this one? Oh, it's somewhere. Is it in here? I'm getting the pen that you sent me. Because I want to show you. I had a little mini, I did a mini art haul. So I bought these liner pens, which are waterproof fine liners, but they're slightly thicker because I already have a bunch of really thin ones. And then I got this little ruling pen, which is really, really good for, well, straight lines mostly. But I'm actually going to be using this for masking fluid so I don't ruin my brushes. And then, where is it? The pen that you sent me is somewhere, but I bought ink that I can use with it because I checked out I looked at all my ink that I own already and realized that it's not for fountain pens because it will clog it up. So this is what I went with. I read a bunch of reviews about it and people really rave about this ink. Yeah, so I can finally use the fancy pen that you sent me. I'm so excited. I have been in such a ink mindset lately. Like, I want to just do ink and wash and go out and do tons of sketches. I was sketching at a cathedral ruins yesterday and using my old pens. And I just was like craving. These came today, so it was a little too late. Those are nice liners. The brand is Unipen? Wait, what is that? I don't know why it has... The logo is a little weird and confusing, but Uniball, I guess, is the brand, and it's called Fine Line, maybe? Like the line? I don't know. But if you I got them on Jackson's Art, so I'm sure if you searched, you'd find ones that look like this. And I got a bunch of different sizes, but like the biggest size is 1.2, which is really thick. Like, that's practically a fine Sharpie. So, but I'm excited to play around with those. But I love dip pens. I love fountain pens, and we're gonna have fun with that. And yeah, the ruling pen is gonna be a good addition because I do a lot of urban sketching, and I'm horrible with straight lines. Not that I want like my drawings to be perfect, but this is like a really quick way I could do straight lines, or, I mean, it's useful for a lot of things, but especially I want to use it for the masking fluid. And you just put masking fluid in this little gap, and you can loosen this to make the gap wider or tighter, and then that is what you make marks with, and you don't ruin your brushes, and you don't, like, you can control it really easily as long as you're careful with it. Inappropriate artist, good morning. You use it to do some fine lines in an architectural commission you had. Yeah, that's another way people use it for like architectural drawings. All the straight lines that you need, like windows and siding on the house and wood boards and beams and all of that stuff, like, you can use it for so many pieces of the painting, of the drawing. Photoshop Elements? I don't even know what that is. Like, I know it exists, but I don't know what it is. Okay. I'm gonna actually switch to my smaller brush, I think. Excuse me. How do you use it for straight lines? The ruling pen, get a ruler and you put the metal part against the ruler and you just slide it down, and it creates like the perfect even line. Or if you have a steady hand, you can probably do it. But I just use like for my sketching, I have one of these mini guys, and I just would do this. Sorry, I'm like, my throat is really itchy. You can water down your gouache and use it like ink. Oh, or watercolor. I've seen people use it with watercolor. Don't you hate when your throat gets itchy and then your eyes water? Like, it's such a weird reaction. Yeah, but that's actually the biggest reason I got it, is because I have shaky hands. So using this with my little ruler, I think is going to take away some of that pressure. And again, it's not like I'm obsessed with making the lines perfect, but using this and this together, I already use this with like some of my other tools. And if I'm out sketching somewhere and I'm trying to capture like the likeness of the place instead of being really loose, then I think that's going to be a good combination. I need to figure out how I would bring ink with me to use this if I am going to use it outside, because I don't want to bring a whole bottle of ink, because knowing me, I would spill it in my bag or on myself or somewhere, and that would just be a nightmare. So that's gotta be figured out. When it's this point in the painting, like super early on, this is like the best time to really experiment with crazy marks, I think. So, sometimes I just make movements thinking about how the light is moving through the scene. It's not even about making a mark. It's like I'm syncing my vision with my hand. And I know that probably sounds super weird, but I just felt like telling you, because I think I make a lot of movements, but I'm not really doing much. And someone watching is probably like, what's actually happening? Nothing is happening on the page. Let's get a little closer. Hey Corey, good morning. Tiny plastic containers to hold a bit of ink. I need to look into that, because I have like this container thing that I took with me on a few plein air sessions that I discovered has a very loose lid, and it spilled everywhere in my bag. You want the ruler to have space so you can use a mat board and get a cork-lined ruler, otherwise it can bleed all over the place. Oh, I do have cork-lined rulers. Also, this has like a shape, so it doesn't actually sit flat on the surface, which I think is what you want, at least based on some of the videos I saw about ruling pens. Like the ink won't get stuck under the ruler technically. Like, because when I use it, I don't know how to explain it, but I like press this down. So the side that I'm like pressing the pen against is actually raised slightly off the paper. That's why you don't wear white things. Demonstrating a resist method. She painted with gouache and then went over the whole painting with India ink, then washed off in the sink. What? The gouache didn't wash off as well? I don't understand. I would have to see the video. Huh. Wow. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that, because I don't get it. Holy crap, that's a lot of blue. See, that is like crazy powerful. And I'm just trying to create like a neutral gray. It's like way too much blue. But if you're ever trying to create gray, this is sometimes an issue that you have, and you just have to keep touching in a teeny bit of color and adjusting it slightly till you get the right gray. And I think this is gonna dry lighter than it's showing on the especially if I add white here and there. to give it a little bit of, to adjust it slightly. Sorry, I don't want to move it off the page. Ooh, and then in the distance, we'll get some like pale greenish. Well, the colors are the hardest to mix in gouache. I want to expand my travel palette. The hardest to mix in gouache. Well, you can't make yellow. You can't make red. Well, yes, you can make red. This is why I like permanent alizarin crimson, because permanent alizarin crimson or quinacridone magenta on their own are a very beautiful, more like magenta color. But if you add a bit of yellow, it becomes red or close to red. So you actually get two colors out of one tube. So that's a really good way you could expand your palette, but still only have one tube of it. Obviously you can't make blue, so those are the three primaries, so you definitely want those. Turquoise. Turquoise is a color that's really hard to make, especially like this color. Actually, I can show you on the palettes. Cobalt Turquoise Light, this color, Cobalt Turquoise Light, is a beautiful color for anything coastal, and actually for a lot of things. For making a super, super, super intense, vivid, bright green, mix cobalt turquoise with lemon yellow, and oh my god, it is like electric. It's unnatural, so you have to be careful with it. But that's a good combo to have as well, because you can do a lot with it. And of course you can always like dull down any of the colors with different strategies. Hey Woosie! Too early, what do you mean? You worked with Ruling Pen for 25 years. You definitely want the space. Okay. Hello Omar. Alex, hello. You hate mixing turquoise. I mean, it's actually, I don't even know. Depending on what colors are in your palette, you can't make turquoise. If you have certain colors, you can get something really close. Like if you have a phthalo blue or phthalo green of some kind, you can maybe get close to that, but that is a tube of, that is a convenience color that like I definitely have in my palette, in a tube of that for sure. Especially if I'm doing coastal stuff. But yeah, like, I prefer to mix my colors if I can. If it's possible, obviously some of them are really hard to mix. Like we were talking about turquoise. But if anything, I want, when I'm outside painting, I want less colors, because it's already so hard to paint outside, to paint from life, that I just need it to be like I need to have the minimum amount of confusion, and if I have a billion colors in front of me, I tend to want to use a billion colors, and that makes it so hard to capture what is in front of me. But if you're forced to mix on the fly, you learn so much faster, and I feel like that's way more beneficial than having convenience colors, and I don't know. It's personal. So everyone's gonna have different approach to that outside. For me, it's better to have less colors. But yeah, if I was gonna travel somewhere and I could only bring like 5 tubes, 6 tubes, let's say 6, because if I'm going international, just to have 6 tubes, it would be permanent alizarin crimson, Actually, maybe quinacridone magenta, because there's a little more, they're so similar, but quinacridone magenta gives you just like a bit more oomph in the pink side of things. So quinacridone magenta, Prussian blue, lemon yellow, cobalt turquoise light, and then would I want black? That's like the other question. No, actually, I think I would go with burnt umber, because burnt umber is so useful, and you can make black with those colors. And then obviously white, you want white in your palette at all times. So that would be my choice. And it's very limited, but you can do almost anything with that color, with those colors. It's hard to get the perfect gradient. Yeah, it is. Did you switch to summertime already? No. I just wanted to end, I wanted to have a 2-hour painting session today, and if I ended at 4, it would be perfect, so that's the reason I started it. Hard time mixing really bright orange in gouache. Any tips? Yeah, use lemon yellow and either permanent alizarin crimson, or I guess if you have cad red, that's a thing, or burnt sienna, but use a bright yellow like lemon yellow, because that'll give you a way more vivid orange than like a regular cad yellow or a yellow ochre. And instead of using like white to brighten the mix, just use more of the pigment. Sometimes it's like the automatic thing is you just want to add white because that makes it lighter, but actually it desaturates it. Okay, let's get some more tree trunks in, and then we'll start playing with more stuff that's going on. Because I feel like I'm just doing the same thing. Do I want to have like a cool tree mixed in? Or just do I want a lot of pine trees? If I have like a kind of a rounded trunk. Do you want to do it? Just do it. Alright, fine. I want it to be a little wonky, but then we'll have some roots coming down, like... And then we'll have some branches coming up and out of this funky tree. My problem, I think, when I go outside and paint is I'm like too timid. So I'm trying to like really, when I'm in the studio practicing, be more bold with my choices, because like, why not do it when I'm in the studio? It's like so much easier to try things in the studio because there's no time pressure, the light isn't changing. I don't know, like it's just, I need to get used to it. Hey again, Annabelle. Okay, what did I miss? Would you recommend Holbein gouache? I used to use Holbein, and I don't actually remember what colors I had, but I would still get the colors I just told you. I would basically just do that with the Holbein colors. But you have to, the main thing, I know that the colors I have in my palette are light fast, but each brand is different, so you want to make sure the brand you're using, if this matters to you, like certain colors and certain brands are not light fast, so just double check. Like if that does matter to you, then you wanna know what you're buying. I think I'm gonna have like some moss on these, but just like hints of it, because I want, like I said, I want the painting to be a little more earthy. I'm using like these really scratchy brush strokes for the trees just to kind of dot them in and see if I like the placement. It's really hard to change it once you get it on there, but if you know it's opaque paint, you can always paint over it. So just laying in it's almost like I'm sketching with the paint at this point. This is really good practice. Streaming today is really good practice for next Tuesday. I am going to be doing a live demo on the Etcher channel. So Etcher is a brand that makes sketchbooks and other art supplies. They make some really amazing 100% cotton watercolor sketchbooks, and I use them for both watercolor and gouache and ink. But they are doing lots of like live demos and artist talks on their YouTube channel, and I will be on their channel next Tuesday. So if anyone wants to hang out, and that'll be more of like an instructional thing, I guess, and there will be the usual moderator there who will read chat, and if anyone has a question in chat, they'll ask me. But yeah, like I get really distracted really easily in my streams and I just forget what I'm doing, and then I start rambling on and on and on about things. And in that stream, that demo is only 45 minutes basically. I have to do a whole painting in 45 minutes, which is obviously possible. I paint fast, but I get so distracted. So I'm really like trying to get into that mindset, which obviously I'm failing, I know. But this is good practice to remind me to kind of stay on track. But yeah, if you guys want to come hang out with me, it would be so awesome to have some familiar faces there. I bet a bunch of you already know about Etcher and maybe watch their demos. And actually we're going to be painting, I think we chose a forest reference photo. So it'll be, I mean, it's obviously not going to be this, but the whole theme is actually painting or using how I use color to convey mood, basically. Like if I want to create a certain mood, how do I do that with color? Which I'm really excited for, because I don't know, that's just something I think about in all of my paintings, and I think a lot of people do. So hopefully that will be fun for people. You bought one of their hot press cotton sketchbooks. Yes. Thanks, guys. You want to paint on the white Etcher book cover. Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't even think about painting on the covers. All right, I kind of like the layout, so I guess I'll just move forward. If I didn't, at this point in the painting, if I didn't like the placement of any of the trees or just whatever, I would basically erase it. Like I would get it wet and wipe it off as best as I could and just start over in that area. Because that's the beauty of gouache, and also one of the curses that you can change. You can use water to change what you've done, to get rid of what you've done. Sometimes it happens when you don't want it to. Okay, so now that I've laid in the base ones, I guess I'm just gonna move forward with my plan. And like I said, I wanted to get some of the more punchier colors in on the page first, which is that orangey tone. And the rest of the colors I go with are going to be more muted. But I don't want it to be totally all yellowish orange. I want there to be some cooler shadows and such. So one of my ways of just making sure I keep the colors a little bit more muted is every single mix that I make, I add a complement to it. So if I'm going to add some green, I will immediately touch in a bit of red or burnt umber or whatever my opposite is. and that immediately starts neutralizing it. Or you could add white or black because that helps desaturate it. And yeah, that's like a surefire way to mute those tones. I'm still using my colors pretty thin down. Oh, I also want to have some rocks in here. So the base color of my rocks, I'm gonna go with, typically when I do rock tones, I start with like a lighter gray on the bluish side of things, and I put that down, and then I can let that dry and adjust it as I need to. But sometimes I forget to do the rocks. I do a lot of my grasses and foliage and stuff, and then I'm like, oh crap, I didn't paint the rocks in there, and then I have to add them and then paint the grasses in front of them again, because they're usually overgrown and stuff. They're not just like perfect rocks sitting in the forest. Plus, it's a really good way to visualize like where your mounds of undergrowth are going to be, like on the forest floor. You could end up covering them up completely, but you at least know they're there, and then as you start adding the rest of it, you'll get like that undulating moss if you want moss or grass or something. What time is it? It is almost 3 p.m. Oh my god. 3 p.m. I was supposed to be halfway done by now. Speaking of sketchbooks, you've learned more about gouache in the past hour than I've learned in the past 2 years of art class. Well, are your art classes focused on gouache? If they're not, then it would be really hard to teach you like little things about it. A lot of times I feel like I don't add enough variety in like the forest floor. So adding rocks and broken branches and twigs and little scraggly bushes, I don't know, like all sorts of little things here and there. I feel like that's something I'm consciously trying to remind myself of. I'm gonna play with a bit of like a purplish shadow color. Hello, Enyo. Hey, Becky. You got the time conversion wrong. Oh, I hope I didn't mention it wrong in Discord. If it was me, I'm sorry. But this will be a replay, of course, so you can watch it whenever. The other thing about, well, I don't know if I was already mentioning anything related to this, but if I want to add green, like mosses and stuff, I don't need to mix super intense green, because I have red and orange down already, and if you put red next to green, they intensify each other. So I can use a really like muted olivey green. It'll feel more vibrant than it actually is. and just give me like a more realistic look. So, is it this sketchbook or a different one? Let me get my other one. This is the etcher. I have the hot press etcher, a small version, and I really love it. Okay, it's not that one. I only have a couple pages in that one. No. Okay, this one. This is, I don't know when I did this or where it was, I don't know, streaming somewhere, I think. This is like the opposite of what I'm doing, or maybe not the opposite of what I'm doing now. But that level of stylization is something that I've been enjoying a lot. And obviously that's not what you would see in real life. But the brush strokes maybe are what I'm going for. Even if I go for a more realistic color palette, the brush strokes themselves are so minimal, and I find it fascinating to try to capture the subject with like the minimal amount of brush strokes. So you might see me lean towards that in this painting because it's something I've been thinking a lot about lately. Oh, by the way, this is the toned paper sketchbook I just posted the Ode to Sketchbooks video of, which had really great response. Thank you guys. And I'll be doing a sketchbook tour. I'm going to record the sketchbook tour tomorrow, possibly even edit most of it, but I'm hopefully going to release that next, very soon anyway. But I loved that sketchbook, and now that this one is finished, this is the Hanamulla watercolor sketchbook, but in beige. They also make a gray paper version, and I'm going to buy that next. I decided. I almost was going to get another one of these, but I really want to try out the gray. I've seen like a lot of the paintings I love by Nathan Fowkes. He uses gray paper, and they look so beautiful. Like the colors just pop off the gray. So I'm gonna try it out and see how it goes. Plus I think ink will look really cool on that. YouTube gave you the time, but it's supposed to be an hour later than when you started? With daylight savings. Oh. Take lunch earlier than now to catch this. Like I said, it will be a replay on the channel, so don't feel pressured to try to watch now. I know live streams are fun, but yeah, I find it difficult to watch a whole live stream, so I completely understand that not everyone can be here live. I do like watching, I watch Aaron Blaze. He's a animator, illustrator, artist extraordinaire. He does a lot of live streams, and he's always live streaming when I do my end of day chores and start cooking dinner. So it's like perfect because I can have him on next to me while I'm doing all that stuff, and I can't really interact because I'm doing things, but I love that. Timing is great for me. I went with like more of a greenish color in the shadow. I don't know if I'll like it once it dries. Probably not. And now I've also gotten rid of all of my dark color on the tree, so let's bring some of that back. "3 p.m. GMT, Sarah's stream is about to start." Wait, what? 3 p.m. GMT? It's... What? Wait, that's weird. I'm pretty sure my YouTube settings show me in London, so it should... Or, I'm not in London, obviously, but that's the time zone I chose. So it should be updating like the real time and not delayed. I'll have to look into that. Thank you guys for letting me know, because his use of light, oh god, he is like my art idol. I mean, I have a lot of art idols, but James Gurney, Nathan Fowkes, they're way up there. There's a lot of them. Mike Hernandez, like their use of light, their use of color, the way they can just, with like a few brush strokes, they painted a thing that looks like the thing. Like they just have that mastery that I mean, it's taken them years and years and years to have that, so I understand, but that is goals. That is true goals. And especially because imagine the freedom that they feel. Like they can go anywhere or even imagine anything and sit down and paint it. And I'm sure they have their own struggles, but it must feel amazing to have that. Like, just being able to paint whatever and not struggle so much. I don't know. I guess it's easy to say, like, the grass is greener. Everyone has their own struggles, I know. You're on their level, in my opinion? Oh my god, you sound like Wolfie. He is the worst. Wolfie, like, anytime I show him art by anyone, he's like, you're better. And it just makes me want to puke. I like get so mad at him. Like I think I was showing him like Nathan Fowkes. He's like, you're so much better. That doesn't even look like a tree. I'm like, ugh! Like I just fill with rage. But it's also adorable because he's not an artist by trade. He doesn't have the trained eye, but he sees what he sees, and it's, I guess by default, because we're together, he like likes my stuff. Like I said, it's Vader. Oh, obviously Vader's home because he's letting the entire universe know. You always double check. I'm really sorry if I messed up a setting or something, and I get it. You're home. Hi, baby. Yes, my sweet baby is home. Did you have a good day? Did you have a good time? Did you meet any of your kitty friends? Oh, it's a sweet boy. Ugh. Go find your brother. Give him some cuddles. He's telling you all his thoughts. Yeah, he's like, I have to tell you everything, Mom. Look what happened. Or listen to what happened. We'll take your collar off and you get some neck scratches. He loves his neck. You can kind of see him down here. They're just collar. Just little neck scratches. Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. The best little boy. He turned on the sound to kitty talk. Yeah. The sweet boy. He had lots of adventures. And now he gets to have another adventure all night with his little brother attacking him. What a sweet boy. Yeah. What a good baby. Now go find your brother. Oh, I could feel him purring on my lap. He doesn't like audibly purr, but he his like neck is vibrating with the purr. I can feel it when I pet him. And you can hear it if you like put your ear up to him. Where's your little brother? You have to go find him. Okay, sorry, what were you talking about? Oh, thank you guys. But yeah, like I was saying, it infuriates me. Infuriates. Makes me mad when Wolfie does that, because I am never going to achieve their level. In my mind, it's just not humanly possible. Yeah, yet he still insists on saying that and doing that to me. I think in a way he knows it riles me up, so of course it makes him want to do it even more. Let's do like a couple touches of like really rich green on these rocks. And then we'll come back and like kind of neutralize it slightly. I'm using Winsor Newton artist gouache, or designer's gouache. You're the gurney of your generation? No, God, don't insult him like that. No, thank you, I really appreciate that. I'll just accept words, but it's not even close. I know now you guys are gonna do it to rile me up. I guess maybe it's like in your own head, you can never live up to your childhood heroes. They'll always be untouchable. Their level, because like I grew up with his the Dinotopia books, the ones that he wrote and illustrated. So in my mind, it's like I've always looked up to his abilities. It just seemed like before I was born, he was like beyond what I'll ever be capable of. And I'm not saying it to like put myself down. It's just something to aspire to. It's something that it truly inspires me. Like knowing he was able to do that with his life is very inspiring. I'm trying to think less and paint this slightly more intuitively. We'll see how it goes. Sometimes that doesn't work out too well. Look. No? Okay, I need to just clean my brush. Sometimes I start mixing and I just can't get the mix right, so I have to start over. Actually, I might switch to my big brush again because my little one makes it tricky to fill in larger areas. Hello, essay saw. Do you do master studies and how often? Not as often as I did like a few years ago. I used to do them a lot. That is so valuable. Like I should do them more often. But I can't even remember the last time I did one. Yes, Becky's correct. 3M painter's tape, my favorite kind. Legit question. It's a thin line between emulating another's ability and developing your own style that may look a little differently. Wait, what was the question? Emulating another's ability and developing your own style that may look a little differently. Well, if this is related to doing master studies, or I guess painting in general, like, I guess you shouldn't be striving to copy someone. Instead, use their art to figure out how they did what they did, because that you'll gain more understanding doing that than just copying them. So, like, really stare at their painting and look at the color they used for their brightest bright. Look at the color they used for their darkest dark. Look at the color for the midgrounds and the gray tones. And, like, if it's a painting of a building, what color did they use on the highlight side? What color did they use on the shadow side? And how did they get those to blend? You can pick apart a painting in so many ways and learn so much. And then those are the things that you can use in your own painting. So whatever your style is, and like, you probably don't even think about what your style is, just paint however you want to paint. But using that knowledge that you learned from the study will help you so much more. But sometimes you do have to do the master study in order to learn those things. Like, it's one thing to stare at a painting and like try to figure those things out, but that can be really difficult until you actually try to paint that. And then by mixing the color until it looks right, you realize, oh, holy crap, there's like way more yellow in there than I thought there was, or there's like so much more white or whatever. It takes the actual going through the motions to figure that out sometimes, which to me is like really fascinating. It's like you're putting a puzzle together, learning how they did that. And it's like, I've heard this quote somewhere, how like doing a master study is the closest you'll ever get to speaking to them about their art, or like listening to how they do what they do, having a conversation with that artist. Well, assuming that they're no longer living, or they're, in another part of the world or something. I think the thing is, Julie, like, it maybe just doesn't show, but I'm always struggling. Like, every single painting I do, I am raging inside. I'm having my moments of failure and my moments of successes. And there's a few things nowadays that I can do that I feel comfortable with, but most of the times I'm always like already past that point, and I'm like trying something new, so I'm out of my comfort zone, or like struggling to do the thing in the way that I want to do it. So it doesn't feel like I have a handle on things as I'm doing it. And that's the main difference, because like I would like to get to the point where I can paint anything in the style I want to paint it in my style, and get that vision on the paper without feeling like I have to pull my hair out, because that's such a huge part of the struggle. I just want it to be easy and comfortable, which I know is never going to happen, because my own expectations are always going to go up. It never ends, really. So the fact that I even think it will is silly. It's like, even saying it, I know it's not going to end. That's never going to happen. Some things will become easier over time, and I will be happy about that. But at some point, even those things will, like, I'll be past caring. Like, I'll have moved on to the next challenge, So, I don't know, I guess it's just, I'm rambling, sorry. I love using my mixes that are on the tray to create different grays and different subtle shifts in the colors and applying them to the paper in small batches. So I don't often clean my palette in the middle of a painting unless it gets really out of control. I just like actually use those grays and those mixes to my advantage whenever I can. I think that's like a side effect, or it's a habit from plein air painting, because I'm always in more of a hurry when I'm doing plein air paintings, and I just never have time to clean a palette. And you end up just like you learning how to use that color that's there to mix what you need to mix. Okay. Lavender painter's tape. I don't think I've seen lavender, but I guess it doesn't matter what color it is. Hey, Dexline. Van Gogh's work and tried to do it so much harder than it looks. Oh my goodness. I can't imagine. Yeah, like really stylized techniques or paint, or yeah, just like really stylized art is harder to do a master study of, in my opinion. It's much easier to copy a painting that looks realistic or slightly more realistic. Like it could still be stylized, but yeah, like really, well, I don't know, maybe it depends on your the way that you usually work. But I'm sure you gain so much from that. A lifelong journey, yeah. How do you get over wanting to just scrape a painting and start over when the painting is in the ugly phase? Oh God. Like 90% of this stream, I have wanted to destroy my painting. It's like a matter of trusting yourself. The repetition of going from point A to B. So A is a blank page, B is a finished painting. The repetition of that process over time, it teaches you that you can trust yourself. So you've done it 100 or 1,000 times before, you will be able to do it again. And it's also a matter of that medium. So like however many gouache paintings I've done, I've gone through that ugly phase that many times. And I like know that if I just push through, keep going, keep mixing, keep thinking about it, like I'll get to the end point. But it is, for me, like I feel way more vulnerable when I do it on live stream like this, because y'all are watching me and you're like maybe judging, or maybe like, I don't know, it's a little bit more scary, and I get self-conscious and I want to like get past the ugly phase like quickly. But you really have to just allow it. It's part of the process. It's important. It's the beginning to middle layer of your painting, and that is like a necessary part. So yeah, I don't know, it's just about repetition. It's about that trust. And some days are better than others for sure. Like I definitely have days where I create monstrosities. At least in my opinion. Let's see, what is the most recent painting? This painting. I think I talked about it maybe on my Twitch stream or my I posted on Instagram. I was doing a Studio Ghibli study from Princess Mononoke, and I restarted this painting 3 times. What you see now is the complete opposite of where it was. So I painted like, you know, my first layer, second layer, third layer was raging, covered it in water, and scraped it all off with a paper towel. I did that 3 freaking times, which is why there's paint all over the sides, like all over here. It's everywhere. And the page itself is like worn down. It's like all bumpy and just like crazy. And I just had to like step away. I think after I scraped it the last time, I was like, I'm not even gonna paint today. Like, screw this. And I'm doing a 100-day gouache challenge, so I paint every day. And it's hard to do it every day sometimes. Like, I get into moods where I just can't figure it out. And I was like about to give up that day, but then I just stepped away and came back and kind of had a fresher take. And I didn't, like, I just stopped caring, I guess. And I was like, screw it. Whatever happens on this page happens. I'm just going to finish it no matter what. So yeah, it happens. And maybe more often than you think. Like, you probably follow a lot of artists that you look up to, and they also go through that. I know I follow lots of artists that, like, I admire so much, and I've seen them talk about this, how, or they'll post a painting that I think is breathtaking, and they're like, oh, well, you know, this is my final attempt. I gave up. I can't go on. This is just... this is what it is. And I'm thinking, like, this is, like, the most beautiful thing. I'll never be able to paint that. But to them, it's like I don't know. Sorry, this song is distracting me. It's not that I don't like the song, but it distracts me with the sound, with the vocals. But yeah. Anyway, they had to get through the ugly phase just like everyone else. And sometimes you, as the artist, you kind of just you stop painting and you're like, to me, it's still in the ugly phase. I can't get past it. I'm just going to stop painting. And someone else looking at it is like, this is so freaking gorgeous and completely not in the ugly stage. We should be kinder to our paintings and we shouldn't call it the ugly stage. But that's a really good way of describing it, to like how it feels, you know? It feels like the ugly stage compared to what we want, where we want it to be, you know. I'm adding some hints of orange and red to the right side, just catching a little bit of that. By the way, this is very difficult for me because, as you guys probably have noticed in a lot of my paintings, I paint with really saturated colors and sometimes crazy combinations. Painting more muted, more on the gray side of things, like this, takes a ton of mental effort. Like, my instincts lead me towards the opposite direction. Like, or maybe just my maybe because that's what I've always done, and I love fantasy art, and that's kind of what got me started in art in the first place. So that visual is always in my head. So whenever I do something like this, I'm like struggling. And even though I'm saying this is muted, to some people it's probably not muted. This is muted for me. It's like very mild compared to a lot of my paintings. Let's see, all of my other forest paintings. Well, here's some examples of bright colors. Even like when I don't know. Why is it that whenever you want an example of something, it's really hard to find it in your sketchbook? Even, so this, can you see that? This, in my mind, as I painted it, was muted. That's like so funny to me now. These ones are quite muted, although I did let some bright pink show through on this one and stuff, but those were a little bit better in terms of being muted. But yeah, I definitely lean towards the other direction. So this, to create something that's got a lot of soft grays and subtle changes in color and isn't like crazy, it doesn't have those like crazy colors in it, I find it to be challenging. Okay, sorry, let me catch up. Good encouragement for us a few stages behind you. Lifelong journey. Okay, sorry. I love it when you ramble. It's relatable. Well, good, because it happens a lot. Observation. Ability to communicate or translate Style, execution. Not just a physical act of painting. Love the glow in the middle. Light is one of the hardest things for me to capture. Yeah, that's still that first layer showing through, I guess. So, still kind of going with the watercolor mindset. Shine on my, hello. Living for this pep talk. Is this a pep talk? That's good, I'm glad. Hi, baby. Oh, look who it is. I found a little kitten. Hi, sweet boy. Look who it is. It's a little Floki. What you doing, little boy? Did you find your brother? Go get your little brother. I mean big brother. Your much bigger brother. You're the sweetest little kitten. I wish I cared what people thought about me. It's really hard to care at all. That's probably a better mindset. Oh, thanks, Xenium. Thank you so much. Do you have any tips for painting beaches or waterfalls? I have tons of tips and thoughts about that. I have lots of videos about that already. I have whole Skillshare classes about those things, actually. So if you want, you can go watch those. You can use my link to get 2 weeks for free and try it out and listen to all my thoughts about waterfalls and beaches. Gouache is so satisfying. I agree. New subscriber, been binge watching your videos. Danny, planning with Danny or Danny? Danny. Thank you so much. I can't imagine how awful it is. Well, you know how you hate the sound of your own voice? Like when I edit my videos, I cringe so hard. I can't imagine binge watching all of my videos. It would be torture. Get caught up in our own vision, expectations, and that's what we judge it by versus us liking it for what it is. And it's really hard to see it from an outside perspective. Like, I can never look at this painting the way you guys are looking at this painting. Because in my mind, the second I look at this, I see what I want it to look like, and I see the mistakes, and I see what I could change to make it look closer to what I want. You know, like, it's so hard to separate that and see it for what it is. Even all my past paintings, like everything I've ever finished before this point, it's the same. And so I can't even tell you how many times I paint something, I record it, I start editing the video, and by the time I edit the video, I've had to like I have to go through it and watch it a few times in order to like cut things and do the voiceover sometimes. And by the time I'm done with that, I've seen it so much and I hate it so much. And I'm just like, this is like the worst painting I've ever done. Why am I even making a video about this? Like I get so lost in my own vision of what it's supposed to look like. And I see how it's not there, and I'm like, oh god. But then someone else looks at the painting and they look at the video when I publish it, and they're like, this is so beautiful, thank you for sharing it. And it's like the opposite of my experience with it. So I completely agree that we can easily get lost in our own view or vision of what something should look like, what we expect from ourselves. Floki isn't so little anymore. Floki is getting so big. He's kind of like a little teenager now, it feels like. All about the gray. Love the muted colors, the red orange punch through. Love the forest painting with the sun rays coming through that is stylized, I think you featured it in your perfect autumn palette. Did you ever do a video about that one? I'm trying to wait, this one? It was at the beginning of the sketchbook, I believe. Was it this one? Or Rays of Light Coming. This one. I think it was this one. Because this was around the time when I was really trying to figure out my perfect autumn palette, or a few different palettes actually. And I did that one. Did I do a video of that? I think this may have been a Twitch stream, or maybe it was YouTube. I'll go back and figure it out. Because if I have a video of that somewhere, I'll definitely figure out a way to share it. Maybe even in a vlog, or I don't know. Yeah, that's... I think it was a Twitch stream. Don't want to say for sure. And it's crazy how that style is like, this is what I lean towards in my head a lot, and it's really fast to paint that style. To paint the thing that's in my head, I have to go fast, so it's really hard to do it on stream unless I like completely focus, because if I make slow decisions, or if I have too much time to think, or like a lot of times when I'm talking on stream, I'm just like touching the painting without even thinking about it. It's so hard to keep that like the freshness that I can achieve by myself, or like just focusing on making those marks one after another. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's why I hesitate to say that I did that one on stream, because it looks more like something I would do when I'm on my own, offline. Hey, Lady T. This will be a replay, so if you feel like going back and watching the process. Today's a very ramble heavy stream, so be forewarned if you go back and watch it. You gotta put up with that. I guess you could just mute it and watch the process. Yeah, it has so much emotion because it's a more direct reaction to the memory of the place, to the references I was looking at. Like, that's why I love working quickly. It's like you don't have to work quickly to achieve cool results, but I tend to do better when I just like work quickly and just like let the one brushstroke and mix and like all of that, it just like fades into the result. I don't know if this is making any sense. Like this song says, nothing makes sense anymore. God, I love gouache, you guys. Like, just some of the textures you can create with gouache, it's fascinating to me. Maybe someday I'll figure out how to describe my love for this medium. Okay, so I was planning on the stream only being 2 hours, which means we have 20 minutes left. And at exactly 4 o'clock when I end the stream, I scheduled a video to go live. So the second I end this stream, the new video will be live, and if you guys want, you can just jump over there and watch it. It's a plein air painting video, so painting in my local forest, and it's a watercolor and gouache hybrid video. painting some, well, I was focusing on the light in the forest again. But I hope it's relaxing and fun to watch. I was trying to make like a twisty branch, but it's such a small branch that it's hard to show twisty. We have a lot of big old twisty trees around here. We have a lot of pine forests, and then randomly in the middle of a bunch of perfectly straight trees, you'll see like some crazy old guy like, hey. Yes, all the old trees are like old ents. My favorite part of the painting is removing the tape. It's so satisfying. Yeah, I've been I've been showing more of that in my videos. And like even the plein air videos that I do, I used to just like finish the painting and take it home and then like show the final result. But lately I've been making sure I take the tape off at the end of the session in the video, because I personally love that and I love how satisfying it is. I keep getting lost in chat. Must have been a Twitch stream. It was the first time I've seen it. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and look. I'll be able to know when I look, because every time I do a painting, I always take a photo of it, and my photos automatically sync to my Google Drive, so I can always go look in there and find the timestamp, the date of whatever it is. So I'll go look for that painting. If it's a Monday, I know that it was a Twitch stream. If it was another day of the week, then it was possibly a YouTube stream. Or it was offline. I'll figure it out based on my calendar. When you take your time, rushing causes me to become lazy in my painting. Oh, I see. Okay. So you just like, if you're rushing through it, it's interesting that you say it makes you feel lazier. Does that mean like you skip over some important decision making? Or I love one thing that's really, well, I think is fun about working quickly is like, to me it feels like I'm working more intuitively. Like I can just, in some ways, like a lot of that subconscious stuff is coming through. Like I didn't know I knew how to do that, but I'm doing it, which is always fascinating. I don't want those vocals. This is gonna be so crazy satisfying when I take the tape off, because it's a very dark painting. Hey, Creative Girl. Have a wonderful day, Xenium. Beginning of this, I'll go back and watch later. Yeah, feel free. And if you end up having any questions, you know, just leave it in the comments. I can answer. The gouache is almost dry on my palette. Best color recipe for painting lichen in gouache. Bluish green with lots of white. How would you approach it? Since, well, at least the kind that grows here, it's like a pale grayish green, mostly. So I would definitely have a majority of the mixture be white, and then I would probably touch in my blue and green, whatever one is on my palette. But maybe even a tiny bit of like my burnt umber, just to give it a little, so it's not quite so intense, quite so vibrant. But it also, color is relative, right? So if I was gonna add that in lichen into this painting, I couldn't just use bright white and blue and yellow. Like I couldn't make it, would make no sense. It wouldn't fit in with this. So I would have to tint it more towards like the reddish orange side of things, for it, in order for it to work. Yeah. So it's really hard for me to give color mixing advice because it's so relative. Have a good night, Becky. Sleep well. Sun has a very quiet mood. Yeah, I like that. Long time no see. I haven't done a live stream in a little while, so it's probably me, not you. But I have been posting more I've been posting more videos, and I've been keeping my Monday Twitch stream pretty consistent. Basically how I see YouTube streams is like, if I can fit it in, then awesome. But first stream priority is Twitch Mondays, and then at least one monthly Patreon stream. And then, yeah, again, if I can add a YouTube stream, awesome. But I do focus on videos, because videos I can like be more specific, and well, obviously I can't take you guys outside with me yet. I haven't figured that out yet. I can't do a stream outside, but I love sharing my plein air painting session as videos. Tips for neutralizing colors in gouache. 2 tips. To neutralize a color, mix complementaries together. So if you have red, add green. Or add either black or white, because black or white will kind of desaturate them as it lightens or darkens it. So you can choose which direction you want to go. Mixing the complementaries together, you do have to be really careful. Like if you have a bright green and you just want to like knock it down a bit, you only need a tiny bit of red in that mix to like bring it down. If you add too much, you'll get like brown. So it depends what you're going for. But sometimes, like for a really nice green, mixing yellow with black is a great option. It's a really beautiful, depending on which yellow you have, it can be kind of like a olivey green. It's so pretty. So that's a quick way you could do it if you just want to like start with a slightly less intense green. New in here. Hi, new people. Welcome, everybody. Just needed to know where to start. Yeah, and of course, since it depends on your painting, you could try one of those, just like going slowly, add little by little. Goblin Valley in southern Utah, doing your Skillshare rock class to get ready. Oh, that's so exciting. I'm so jealous. Oh my gosh. When I went there, I was like barely starting my plein air painting journey, and like it is such a cool place. Utah, the whole, I don't know exactly where Goblin Valley is, but like Moab and Arches National Park, like seriously otherworldly, and I would love to paint it now. I really want to go back someday. next time I'm ever in the States, I will most likely be visiting my parents, my friends in Colorado, and some friends on the West Coast. So if I can possibly squeeze in a trip to Utah, that would be awesome, because painting in person would be incredible. Because I only did a tiny bit when I was there. I think your stream is very slow. No, it's just me. I am reading slow because it's really hard to paint and pay attention to what I'm doing and keep up in chat. So, yeah, I'm behind. But yes, hello everybody. If you're new here, well, I was gonna go into a whole thing about who I am, but you could just go watch my videos and find out. But I will be ending this stream in about 10 minutes, and then at that time, my new video is gonna be live. So if you want to jump into that, you can go join me in the forest and paint. I'll be doing some plein air painting in that video. Well, the whole thing is painting outside in the forest with watercolor and gouache. Try to do one type of landscape for a while to learn how to paint that type of landscape. It helps me learn. Okay, so yeah, like focusing on one specific subject for sure is gonna help. Otherwise, if you jump around to so many different things, it's like you kind of get an understanding, but then you're moving on to the next thing, and it can feel a little, I don't know, it can be a struggle. But the same for me, I experience that when I switch between like watercolor and gouache and oil. Like, I mean, I learn a lot doing it, but it's definitely not ideal if you're trying to improve in that one medium, which this all goes back to what I was talking about at the beginning of the stream. I think I'm actually gonna ruin my painting now, because I was just looking at it and I thought it would be maybe kind of cool to have some big rocks in the foreground. So some silhouetted rocks, or not totally silhouetted, but they're gonna be, I'll have a little dry brush on them when they're done, before they're finished. I'm not sure. I think it's gonna dry a little bit lighter, and then they have a Stone Mountain, Six Flags, White Waters. So there's a lot, you're saying. I've been to Savannah, Georgia once for an Ultimate Frisbee tournament, way back in the day. I've never been to the Grand Tetons, if that's how you say it. When's my next stream? My next stream is Monday on Twitch, and then I don't know when my next YouTube stream is. I can't stream next week on YouTube because we're having a visitor, and then the following week is a possibility. So I'll just post it. I'll schedule it beforehand so you guys kind of know what's up. So if you are a subscriber, it will show up on your follow list or your subscription page. If you turn notifications on, I think it will actually tell you when I schedule it or when it goes live. This is really difficult at this point when the paint on my palette is starting to dry, like trying to get my colors. You can set a reminder. That's what I was thinking. When you see it pop up on your subscription list, it'll be like, yo, this stream is coming up in however many days. Do you want to set a reminder? So if you say yes, then it takes all the guesswork out of it for you. You almost see a face in it. It's our little ent friend. Sometimes in the forest here, you'll come across like a super old stone wall that's pretty much in ruins because a lot of the farmlands and properties are separated by big stone walls. And it's always overgrown with moss and plants and stuff. It's so cool. I love finding that in the forest. Also, it can be a great seat for painting. Like you're on a comfy moss-covered rock in the forest. What is your Twitch name? It's the same name, Sarah Burns Studio. When you see a face in anything that's not a face, it creeps you out. I can kind of see that. If, in person especially. Like if you're walking around outside and you see a face or something. Oh my gosh, in the video that that's about to go live on my channel, there's a moment where someone is behind me in the forest, and in the video I'm like, oh my god, there's someone behind me. And it, like, when I was editing it, I got that, I could like feel the fear again because it really freaked me out. I was in the middle of the forest by myself painting, and there was someone really close behind me out of nowhere. I was like, what the hell? And they kept walking and stuff, but don't worry, it's not a horror show. It's not a horror video. It doesn't get out of control. The final little touch, I think, because we're gonna wrap up the stream now. Oh no. Is just like a couple hints of highlights on these grasses. It's gonna dry darker, but you don't trust strangers. Yeah, I mean, usually Wolfie's with me, or I'm really close to like the road or trails or something, so but anyway, I just, when you said that about faces, it reminded me of that moment. Wolfie sees patterns in rocks and stuff whenever we go out walking. He always points out like things that I don't even notice. So yeah, guys, this is the end of my stream. I don't think I quite completed it yet. We'll do a little tape peel to end the stream. And then I hope you all have an amazing afternoon / morning or whatever time it is for you. Again, if you'd like to join me in more streams, come hang out with me on Mondays on Twitch. Otherwise, keep an eye out for my upcoming streams here on this channel. And I also do live streams with my Patreons. Last time we did a forest paint along, which was really fun. Oh no, it's tearing. Oh god. this one in the crease is maybe not going to work so well. Oh no. I have to tear towards the crease. As long as we get a clean edge on the painting. Yes, there we go. Then I'm okay. I think I let a little bit too much moisture get down in the crease there. We did it! So, thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Definitely a moody painting. Learned a lot. We'll continue to learn, take what I learned into the next painting. So, oh, and as a reminder, I'm streaming on Etcher's YouTube channel next Tuesday. So if you go to their channel, you'll see the upcoming streams and look for my stream, and you can set a reminder if you want. But it's going to be more of like a demo / tutorial type thing. So I hope to see some of you there. And have a great weekend. I'm going to end now. And if you want, you can go watch my new video. Or come join me in Discord. I'll be hanging out off and on this weekend in Discord. You can find the links in the description below. So, thank you all. I hope you have an amazing weekend. You can get out and paint. That's even better. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining me.